Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great time so far. Please take your seats as we are now starting our Signature Leaders panel. This insightful discussion will look at the industry from different angles, such as digitalisation, geopolitical, and regulatory effects, and key must know from the APAC region. Please welcome our moderator, Daniela Eckley, Cyprus CEO and Group COO at Skilling, who will introduce her panel. Please give her a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. I hope everybody is enjoying the expo so far. We will start by asking the panelists to introduce themselves.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to the show. My name is Iskandar Najjar. I'm the founder and CEO of Equity Group. We're a financial brokerage house focused on multi-asset solutions. We built some of our own technology as well. We're touching into the crypto space and digital asset space as well. We're globally regulated all the way from Europe through to the Middle East and Africa. And we're also looking at regulation in Asia in the near future.
Thank you.
Sawadee Krap, everyone. Hi, my name is Mario. I'm the founder and chairman of Fullerton Markets, one of Asia's fastest growing brokerage firms. Like Iskandar, we are also a multi-asset brokerage, so we have currencies, stocks, crypto indexes, bullion, and the like. On my spare time, I'm an author. I've written 4 books, so that keeps me busy. We've got quite a large presence here in Thailand. Really excited to be with my industry peers here on this panel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff. I'm from ADFX. I'm the CEO of FDF of Southeast Asia. Thank you. Thank you for joining this event. Thank you.
Thank you. Alex?
Good morning. Alex McKinnon from Finalto Group. I'm the CEO of Asia. We're a multi-asset broker along with some technology stacks that we have. We're predominantly B2B and cover the products that Mario and Iskandar have mentioned, and it's great to be here.
Thank you.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ben from Expo Asia. So I'm based in Hong Kong, and for Swissco, we are a bank licensed in Switzerland. So for us in Hong Kong, we mainly provide FX solutions. So I hope that we can have a nice discussion today. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Very impressive backgrounds, and we look forward to your insights on the following topics. The first topic that we want to discuss is the challenges that you've experienced in the last 2 to 3 years. We've experienced a lot of socio-economic events that had a great impact on our sector. So what were the challenges that you were experiencing pre-pandemic, and how did these change during the pandemic and after the pandemic? And do you think these challenges were different for different regions, such as Asia versus Europe? Iskandar?
I mean, the challenges pre-pandemic is the world has changed and so dramatically since then. You tend to forget what the world was like. The world is changing on a quarterly basis, you feel, in terms of how you need to manage culture, you need to manage awareness, you need to manage your organization and strategy as well. So I'd focus on pandemic and how we've realized that we can adapt to work from home, we can adapt to remote working and really evolve as an organization despite being restricted within the space and the geographies that you're based in, which allowed companies such as ourselves to be more encouraged to be able to look at geographic expansion in a more progressive and active manner. Post-pandemic, it's been a challenge of a balance between work from home and work from office. Different geographies, different regions have adapted in different ways. And it's about managing the organization in sync as best as you can. We're an organization of 500 people. We're distributed across 14 countries. And it's different cultures and different mindsets towards work from home and work from office cultures. And you try to build a unified culture within an organization, always emphasizing with the vision and the strategy. And it's been adapting to that. Now, technologically speaking, there's been so many solutions that have advanced far more drastically than ever before. Cloud solutions and a huge wave of new investors coming through the trading world. You know, trading has very much become a lifestyle and not far more than it has ever before. The average age of investors has dropped drastically. It's become and it's about us as a brokerage adapting our solutions, adapting our messages towards our underlying client base, which has grown significantly on the post-pandemic. People working from home, investing from home, and that trend has continued over the last years.
Thank you very much. Mario?
Yeah, I actually called it a perfect storm, you know, in the last couple of years because of the pandemic, right? What I mean by the perfect storm, the dual twin towers as in number one, where the governments were pumping the billions of dollars to obviously prop up their economy. And as we all know, whenever all this cheap money flows throughout the system, it inevitably finds its way into the financial markets, right? Whether it's the crypto markets, the currency markets, the stock market. So with that kind of volatility, it obviously helped all those who are in the brokerage space. So that was number one. Number two, again, because of the pandemic, more people spend more time at home. Your work from home, your stay-at-home measures, more people had time on their screens. So that was a perfect storm. That was good. What it did expose a bit of weakness on our side, and I don't mind sharing that for transparency, is because many of our relationships were primarily offline, on-site, so to speak. And that is the way we do business here in Asia, right? Most people are more just relational as opposed to being transactional first. So relationship building first. So when I say expose a little bit of flaw on our side, when more people went online, although it did boost the business, what it did expose a bit of the flaw was that were we technologically ready in terms of the products and services to help them scale their business? So happy to report that that has obviously been taken care of. So post-pandemic, we are obviously in a position to not just scale our relationships on an on-site way, but obviously in an online way as well.
Thank you, Mario. Good insight on the difference between Europe and Asia, that in Asia it's more relational than in Europe. That's a very good insight. Yes?
Okay, since 2020, the COVID-19 spread out very quickly. But I think luckily, our business industry is not unlike others. For example, our company, we increased our trading volume 3 times than it was before. So we have to focus on our technology, on helping with our client to do the online trading. For example, to have the increase the security level of our clients' data, their information, and of course we try to enhance our transparent market execution power and the speed of the execution, the tradings. So that's what we do in the past 3 years, and we still trying to improve our client to help them to get into this trading business more quickly than it was before. So that's what we do, and we have a 24 hours daily IT team to help to develop or keep developing and trying to solve the problem or some difficulty our client might encounter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Alex?
Yeah, I think, as Mario said, Asia is a very different place in how we interact with our customers. Finalto Asia, Singapore, we received our MAS approval in December of 2019, and then the perfect storm happened, which wasn't really ideal for us because it basically closed off client interactions throughout Southeast Asia. And being a B2B broker or a liquidity provider to the market, to generate new business, it was quite hard. But from a human resources point of view, as Skander said, I mean, it showed us that our people can work from home. We changed our working styles. Did we become more productive? I think we did, because we worked probably 24 hours a day, but worked efficiently in 2-hour slots, because we are in a 24-hour business. So from us, it was a good experience, but we're very happy that Singapore's opened its doors, and hopefully soon Hong Kong as well, and we can get back to business. I mean, it's been a dramatic change since the flights have started opening up again, and business is definitely moving here in Southeast Asia. It's been great.
Thank you. Benjamin?
Yep. Well, I think a lot of speakers mentioned about the technological development since the pandemic. I think technologically, it has been advanced a lot. So someone mentioned that you don't have to be limited to a specific place for meeting, so you can work from everywhere. I think that's the development since the pandemic. But I fully agree with Mario, because the Swissco Asia, we target mainly Asian region. Obviously, for the bank, Swissco, we target all over the world. But for my office, we mainly target Asia. And since pandemic, and even still right now, we cannot physically meet our client. You could, but you have to subject to the strict quarantine, especially, say, for example, I'm from Hong Kong. And this time when I go back, I'm a little bit lucky that I just quarantined for 3 days. Before that, it was like 7 days or even 14 days. So, I mean, the problem, if I could say it's a problem, after the pandemic or since COVID, is about the physical barrier becomes very difficult, especially in Asia. The culture is that we have to see the people, we have to meet the people physically. And but again, the clients, they still get used to meeting online, but I mean, still not the mainstream of the culture in Asia. Yeah.
Do you think that will change going forward?
What kind? You mean the quarantine policy or what? Well, I think clients, they more get used to this kind of virtual meeting, but still, as Mario mentioned, the relationship, the trust, especially in Asia, is actually building by getting in touch with someone else. Maybe in Europe, since like many years, people start very familiar with this kind of a virtual meeting, but in Asia, I think it will take time. People will get used to that, but probably it will take another 2-3 years to get used to this method.
Thank you very much. Somebody mentioned volatility earlier and how volatility had a huge impact on our sector. I think mostly in a good way because it brought larger volumes for the brokers and profits and growth. But what happens when volatility dries up? How can brokers be prepared for such a scenario? Iskander?
Yeah, as you've mentioned, volatility has been there and it continues to be in the markets, as we've seen as recently as yesterday. What we've evolved, and I think a lot of brokers similar to ourselves have evolved to become multi-asset solution based. Where previously we were focused on margin trading products, and we are evolving to more investment trading products, more long-term solutions. So we're looking at DMA solutions, futures, options, wider cryptocurrency solutions as well. I think we have around 80 margin-based crypto solution offerings. But something that's really ignited our interest is blockchain technology and the work that can be done around that. So we're working a lot of digital asset based projects, touching into our world and outside of our world in different dimensions as well. So definitely there's been significant interest. The space has evolved in the digital asset space. I'm based in the UAE, which has been a pioneer in legislation within that space. So my perfect answer would be expansion in terms of product offerings. There's a much larger client base who has an interest in trading. Today it's margin. Their appetite is only growing and the share of wallet is only growing for us to be able to service. And digital asset in a separate sphere entirely as well.
Thank you.
The question on volatility, the good news is I don't think it's going to dry up. I mean, for those of us who were watching the markets last night, right, they all see the huge drop. All the US indexes dropped, right? Dow dropped 1,005 because of some inflation report. So from a volatility perspective, I don't think it is going to disappear anytime soon, especially with all the kind of problems that we are seeing reverberating throughout the entire world. That's point one, which I think works in all of our favor in terms of having volatility in the markets. But having said that, right, now segue into, for brokerage firms, I always say the ethos of our firm, in fact, I dare say it for all firms, it's always about finding more, funding more, and trading more. This is kind of like the ethos of all brokerage firms, right? That's how we make money. Find more, fund more, trade more. I put it into, I call this the content. So if you look at like a glass of water, right? That's the content. You got to find more, fund more, trade more. But now, in terms of what brokerages need to be holding that content, is more the context of it, which is in essence the cup. So what are we all building in this ecosystem to hold that content? And I dare say, some of the answers would be, number one, branding. I think that's important. How else would you be standing out away from the crowd? And then more importantly, number two, relationships. Relationships are a bit more of the long game, yeah, because it's not about, getting a client for one time. We want to build sustainable relationships, which is really one of the core values of our company. Sustainability is a big core value for us. So we invest heavily in relationships, and I think that's something that we will continue to do in the long term, regardless whether there is volatility or not.
Thank you very much. Jeff?
Okay, well, we are continuously evolving our technology to serve our client to have a strong, simple KYC and simple onboarding process, powerful, simple to use trading technology like we have back-tested and well-proven indicators and trading signals indicators for our customer to use. That's what we are doing to try to face this situation when it drives up. Okay.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Alex?
Volatility brings credit and risk issues with it. So looking at it from a B2B point of view, again, what we've evolved is we've listened to our customers. We hear they need a little bit more temporary credit, or can we widen this, can we do that? So we've listened to them, we've moved our parameters around to help people protect themselves. I think that comes down to regulations as well around the world, and as we've seen during COVID, ASIC changed their leverage rules, which affected the market dramatically there. So for us, volatility is great, but it also brings risks. We try and mitigate those risks for ourselves and our clients. It's for us, if it evolves to a lower volatility market, I think we're still very well prepared because our customers are more, they're institutional. So, it's less about funding and finding, et cetera, to Mario's business model. For us, volatility is good, more transactions, but that does bring bigger risks to it.
Thank you for bringing up the risk aspect, especially in a world where we see such events as the GameStop saga, where traders just hammer one asset only. Risk is a very important factor of that.
Yeah, I mean, that brings in another topic, because I think we've all been on planes, well, most of us, and HBO have a series on it. Because we definitely did on Emirates Airline. So, it's interesting how that's coming into the mainstream, and that saga's, already on TV.
Thank you. Benjamin?
Well, I mean, first of all, regarding the dry up of the volatility, I mean, for Swissquote, we are not facing, or we don't see that as a very big issue to us, because as a bank, it should not be a big problem to us. But I mean, generally speaking, I mean, to expand the asset classes to client, to expand the product range, could be the option to face or to solve this issue if that really happens. So I mean, again, expanding the products could be the option. Yeah,
Alex?
Well, I think it brings on technology as well. I mean, how we're going, will the market go 24/7? We're definitely, going that way with crypto, and the Scanders Group's got a very good product there, and you're 24/7 there as well. That brings in different types of risk. It's manpower risk, it's technology risk. So, COVID's made us move, 10 years faster than where we probably would have been without it.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of risks and technology, I think we've seen a lot of threats, cybersecurity threats that brokers have experienced in the last few years, with everyone going remote, using technology, operating online most of the time. So have you experienced a lot of cybersecurity threats, and how did you manage to mitigate these risks? Iskander?
I mean, definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, that's increased. Our industry is definitely highly targeted because of the nature of our business, and it comes in different approaches. You know, it can come directly through Trojan attacks onto your individual clients, or advanced persistent threats onto your systems as well, and. Yes, it's about being prepared. You can invest in as much as you can, technologically speaking, but what's most important is a more holistic approach to that. And it's really ensuring that your operation systems, your team is highly educated. There's phishing attacks happening continuously, and they're only increasing with time. You have to ensure that not just the tech team is well aware of it and prepared for it, but everyone who has a touch point within the organization is very well prepared as well. You can build the right protections, technically speaking, but it's all about education, in my opinion, and ensuring that everyone within the organization, from the most junior employee to most senior, is well versed with the threats and has the direct communication and structure approach to managing any concerns.
I think for most of us, we definitely will take cybersecurity threats very, very seriously. I think most of us have all these stuff in place, right? But one little nuance that we have in our firm is like when things go down, when you have phishing attacks, or when something happens, right? What then is our recovery process? So we've got a way of like measuring the downtime, so to speak, in whatever department that may be in, whether it's in the tech side, the compliance side, so on and so forth. Because we're big believers in what you cannot measure, you can't manage, right? So, and it's always the case, when something goes down, people tend to get flustered, even though all the SOPs are in place. So every once in a while, we try to have one of these dry runs, so to speak, so that to ensure that whenever we get back up, the timing kind of considerably comes down in terms of how we are managing these threats and these attacks.
Thank you. Jeff?
We monitoring this kind of situation 24 hours every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Alex?
Yeah, I think the regulators should probably push a bit harder on our the cybersecurity side of things. I know MAS are quite proactive in that. They have a very deep guideline. They call it the TRM, Technology Risk Management. And as Iskander said, it's involved by senior people all the way down security. So, we're in a business that we're constantly getting, phishing scams and like that, but we're all protected to there. But we just got to keep improving and keep ahead of the smart kids trying to do it to us.
Thank you, Alex.
Well, I mean, for the cybersecurity issue, I think I'm not a tech person, but I know that's an issue. And but do I have any solution? Because I'm not a tech person, I don't have any solution. But I mean, for Cisco, I think I believe that we have a strong IT team to prepare ahead, to invest in the system to avoid this kind of threat or even the real issue. And I think one key point is to educate the whole team. No, it's not just an IT issue, but everyone from the company has to get prepared and how to avoid that. So in addition to not just investing in the system, but also mentally to educate, or practically to educate everyone in the company to avoid that.
Thank you very much, everyone. Speaking of technology, social media and mobile are two of the mainstream acquisition channels nowadays. Are there new frontiers for client acquisition, and what would there be? And are there new opportunities for that? Iskander?
I mean, social media has definitely evolved. The avenues and the platforms have only grown, especially over the last 3 to 5 years. I mean, I thought I was quite heavily integrated, and then I realized I'm very, very far behind with all of the social media platforms out there. I think in speaking to the marketing team, it's about efficiency. efficiency of conversions, efficiency of our spends, and the tracking of our spends. So ensuring that the data architecture behind our models are in tune to be able to target the right audiences with the right messaging in the right time. So it's not a new avenue. Definitely offline mediums are still something that we focus our branding exercises on. But in terms of client acquisition, it's definitely the digital marketing space. And what we've heavily invested into is more deeper integration into the efficiencies of our spend in terms of targeting, retargeting our clients, ensuring that we're speaking to the right audiences, and ensuring that we're delivering the right messages as well. And it's just a constant exercise where you have your AIs constantly reading, evolving, and increasing in terms of efficiency.
Thank you.
So here's how I think about it in terms of client acquisition. In the way our company projects it, there's three main areas, right? So there's the demographic side of it, there's the geographic side of it, there's the psychographic side of it. Now, in terms of geographic, so let's just say in Thailand, we've got to be absolutely clear what the Thai clients want. It's going to be markedly different than what clients in, let's just say, Indonesia or in Vietnam want, right? So in terms of geographic segmentation, that's important. In terms of the demographic, again, when you drill it deep in terms of their gender, in terms of their age, in terms of their income levels, again, it's different. So we've got a whole team that actually does all these statistics in terms of the demographic. And then finally, which is the hardest one, the way we look at it, right, the psychographic side of it. So what is the psychographic? Meaning to say, every certain individual comes with a certain worldview, right? Everyone comes with certain values, beliefs, that's just different. And certain things about the company may call out to one client, but the other client couldn't care less about what we offer. So it's really about market segmentation in all these three areas, and I think analytics are really important. The further we want to go and the bigger we want to scale, market segmentation in terms of geographic, demographic, and psychographic, absolutely important for client acquisition.
Thank you very much. Alex?
I'm probably the worst one to speak to on this because we're very much B2B, so we're very traditional. We are moving into the social media world, but that's predominantly through LinkedIn because we're specifically targeting, institutions and regulated entities. So are we doing more than we did before COVID? Absolutely. It's now just coming down to the efficiencies of conversions, which is what we're working very hard on.
Thank you very much. Benjamin?
Yeah, I mean, we are in the industry that highly rely on online marketing. So social media is the best tool to approach our clients. And for Swissco, obviously, all the traditional type of social media, we have our exposure in that. And in addition to that, so say for Swissco, before that we sponsor Manchester United. And since last year, we start sponsoring the Europa League and Conference League. So we leverage on this kind of marketing or this kind of sponsorship to target or to approach an additional group of clients. They might not be our first, they might not be the first group that we consider, but because they may be a soccer fans, maybe they got attention about the league, then we could rely on this kind of sponsorship to target another group of segment.
And just to add on that as well, I think what had been mentioned earlier on the panel, it's that face-to-face communication as well. I mean, we're based heavily in the Middle East, we're in Africa as well, and face-to-face is very important. And I think we've seen that with our time in Asia and our expansion plans into Asia as well. So yes, social media, the digital frontier is definitely the client knocking on the door, but then you have to follow it up with further exercises, seminars, and face-to-face interactions with them, and the branding exercises similar to what Swissco have done to emphasize that credibility. But face-to-face is key in these markets. Very different from Europe and the client, the strategies around client acquisitions in those markets.
Yeah, makes sense. One topic that we want to discuss today is crypto. Obviously, it's something that has really affected our industry. How do we navigate the crypto downturn? What are the strategies that we are employing in order to navigate through that? And are we placing our bets on something new? Iskandar?
Yeah, cryptos is definitely going through a dip, but most asset classes do. They go through peaks and troughs. And it's not the first, and I don't think it'll be the last either. You know, crypto in the last 24 months has really made a lot of noise in global markets. It's grabbed a lot of attention. And most importantly, it's grabbed a lot of the attention of the regulators and the importance of drafting legislation around that. So, in my opinion, it's far from the end. It's only just the beginning and part of the life cycle of this asset class in particular, which will evolve in line with many other asset classes. The question is,